So for this evening, I'm going to be driving from Glasgow to Edinburgh, surprise, surprise. And I am charged to 97%. The guessometer says 144. That's because it's probably thinking I'll be driving at the national speed limit again, which I'm not. So I'm going to take it easy today. Maybe turn the heating on and off, depending on how I feel. Most likely going to reduce it down from the last trip, an average of 3.2 kilowatts. So I'm going to try and beat that on the way back. It's 3 degrees outside, but it's actually really dry. And let's have a look. Right, so I'm going to reset trip computer 1. Reset all, confirm, yes. And I will be driving at 56 miles an hour. The reason for that is because when I bought my first Nissan Micra, all the paperwork, the sort of like fuel consumption was based on 56 miles an hour. Don't ask me why, but that's how it used to be. So I'm going to go based off that. So we're going to head off the road once this nice gentleman, the parking attendant, gets out of my way. That's right. Get your tablet out, dude. There's something wrong. Something wrong with the wall. Oh no, he's taking a picture of me. Jeez. Right, let's go. Right, so we have Mr. Parcelfuss coming past. I think he wants to overtake me. So I slowed down ever so slightly to give him a chance to catch up. And we can set this to 56. And we'll see if we can get a little bit of slipstreaming going. Someone was asking about insurance and the cost of it, and it's basically, it really comes down to your postcode. Well, I used to have a Civic Type R, an EP3, and I was living in London, and insurance back then was £680, and my friend said he wanted to insure one as well, and he said it came up to 1,400. He was over on the east end of London and I was over in Isleworth. So I told him to give me his postcode, and I punched it into the online checker, one of those checking sites, and it came up to be £1,300. So it really depends on your postcode where you live. But coming back to the actual cost of insurance, the cost for my last vehicle was a Mercedes CLK, 2.7 litre of pure German diesel. It was a really good motorway cruiser, and it was a stopgap car that I bought for about £3,000 before I basically got this car. So it was just and the reason why I sold it beforehand was the MOT was coming up and I didn't really want to deal with that, so I got rid of it. But that was £367, I think it was, at the time. So that was about November time, which that's what the cost of it. And the cost of this, insuring this car with Churchill through the websites, they were actually on the comparison website. And that I got for £313 for the year for this car. So it was actually cheaper than the Mercedes CLK 2.7 litre Avantgarde to insure. So somewhere in the Churchill's archives for recording for training purposes of your call, there'll be me shouting at the lady over the phone when I was sorting out my insurance. So we're just passing Livingston North on my right, and I have actually turned the heating down to 16 degrees on the climate control. The heating's still on and the heated seat's on low and the steering wheel's still on for the heater. And the climate control is actually only drawing maybe less than 0.5 kilowatts. So it's not actually using that much power, and 16 degrees is actually comfortable. It's better than turning it off and having the front of my body at 2 degrees and my backside at 21 possibly. So we're actually at 3.6 miles per kilowatt now. And are we descending? Judging from the eco bar here, we're drawing maybe about 15 kilowatts. So we're actually descending. I think on the flats it's close to the 20 kilowatt mark, which is where the top of the eco blue line is on the big dial. We're still, the gasometer still thinks we can get 101 miles and we're at 67%. We've clocked 3.72 miles so far. Ooh, it's gone up. 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour. So I forgot to indicate, so ProPilot freaked out and decided to slow me down a little bit. It wasn't because I was lane changing, well I was. So that was interesting. So yeah, it does slow you down when it does that. So due to roadworks, I've been diverted up the M9. So I think it's going to get me to do a U-turn in a minute. So we're actually going a little bit longer distance than usual. Yeah, it seems like it. Deja vu. We're back at Livingston North. There seems to be a glitch in the matrix. So we've went all the way around and back again. So we've added on quite a few extra miles. I'll have to go down the A80 or the A8, I think was the diversion I should have took. So now SatNav is hopefully will rearrange itself when I get past there. When I get to 53 miles, we'll have a look at what the battery is and the miles per kilowatt. So I'm going to conclude the test now, as we're at 53 miles on the trip B, which is what we had previously. The battery level is at 56%, but bear in mind that we actually left with 97%, so if we add 3 to that, we have 59% battery left in theory. So we've actually saved 6% of battery life going at a slower speed, and our average miles per kilowatt is actually at 3.8, so we are 6.6 miles better off per kilowatt hour than what we were previously. So I'm going to conclude the test now. Finally made it into Edinburgh, and the trip B says it's 64.9 miles and the battery is at 48%. So the miles per kilowatt says 3.9. If we multiply that by 40 kilowatt on the battery, we get 156 miles. So getting 3.9 miles per kilowatt is really good, I think. So if we go back to where I concluded the test, it was at 3.8 miles per kilowatt. So we multiply that by 40 kilowatt hours, we get 152 miles. That is a fairly decent range for motorway driving, especially when I actually had the heating on, even though it was low, at 16 degrees. Right, let me know what you think of the eco test that I did there, if you think the results were good or if you could have done better. Personally, I thought I did quite well. The fact that I had the heating on as well, so the car kind of met my expectations of what most people were saying online. Once again, thank you for watching, and if you liked the video, please hit the like and subscribe button below, and I'll see you guys next time.